still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap.
You don't want no
around.
smoke. He enjoying that 150 million, 200 million.
Okay then, so then leave me alone while I'm on the field.
You was laughing with him. He wasn't bothering you.
Jim Jones was never better than Nas. Jim Jones will never be better than Nas. And this is coming from somebody that's not a Nas fan. I love Dipset. I love the Diplomats. I love Bird Game. But we not about to start rewriting history because Jim Jones got confidence.
You know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's...
Jim Jones showed up to Shannon Sharpe's show and instantly stirred chaos. He claimed not only is he still relevant, but even more influential than Nas himself, more vital to the culture. That one line flipped the internet upside down. But 50 Cent? He didn't utter a single word. No cryptic captions. No diss. Just posted an old federal transcript to Instagram and kept moving. Let the streets do the math. Now the internet's unraveling wiretaps, reposting ancient interviews, and suddenly Jim's in the gym yelling into his phone, throwing subliminals like he's prepping for prison. But don't get it twisted. This ain't just about Nas. And it definitely ain't only about ego. This move from 50 Cent feels like a silent warning, a reminder of who's truly untouchable and who barely escaped indictment. Jim may have been flexing, but now he might have lit a fire way bigger than he planned. And let's not act like this beef is new. Anytime Jim Jones speaks on Nas, the pot boils over. This tension goes way back to 2002 when Nas went off live on Hot 97, randomly calling out Cameron and calling his album trash.
I never got to sit down and have a conversation with Nas and things like that. I had called you about it and things like that. That was like still one of the people that I never got to have a conversation throughout my history of rap and things like that. I think I would love to have a conversation with Nas. I wouldn't know if he knows it, but Nas was one of my all-time favorite rappers coming up and things like that.
I've heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that. Like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective.
No real explanation, but that was enough. Dipset snapped. And Jim Jones? He dove headfirst, no hesitation. What began as petty jabs turned into full-blown mixtape warfare. Shots were fired, but Jim made it personal. Straight up threatened to smack the kufi off Nas, and stayed that aggressive on every single track. This wasn't music beef. It was personal vendetta. But here's the twist. Jim once had mad respect for Nas. Just last year, he was all love. No slick talk, just respect and admiration.
Recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy
big hits.
Wow.
He looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god. Right?
Somewhere behind the scenes, that admiration morphed into petty shade. It all came to a boiling point when Jim appeared on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast. Naturally, Fat Joe couldn't help stirring the pot. That's his thing. But Jim didn't dodge. He leaned all the way in, practically begging to speak on the drama. And wow, he did. Out of nowhere, he delivered one of the wildest hot takes ever. Jim Jones didn't just claim he's relevant. He said he's more influential than Nas. Yes, that Nas, Queensbridge icon, the man behind Illmatic, Godson, King's Disease, the same man still packing Madison Square Garden in his 50s.
When I was in 11th grade, so Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you gotta realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that, I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different...
That interview didn't just stir the pot. It flipped it, tossed it, and torched the kitchen. Before the smoke cleared, Jim was already back outside with more. This time on Shannon Sharpe's Nightcap, joined by none other than Chad Okosinko. And Jim, he didn't backpedal one bit. He came charged up. No cleanup, just escalation. Shannon opened with heat, challenging him from a jump. But just as it seemed Jim might ease off, boom, he dropped another hot take. He revisited that Dipset versus Nas feud from the early 2000s. Said he used to be a huge Nas fan, but now claims he's past him in cultural influence.
No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones, check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries and and I'm not taking nothing away from nobody, but I hear the comparisons and then we trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this shit.
Then came the twist. Jim started praising Nas's style, called him one of the flyest ever, but kept circling back. Nas don't move the streets like I do. And when you thought it couldn't get more petty, Jim turned to Shannon's wardrobe, started roasting the man mid-interview. A hip-hop discussion just became a runway roast.
And I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that bullshit.
But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him.
At this point, Chad was just chilling, watching like the rest of us. A front row seat to chaos.
Always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
ain't no shame in that. There a lot of more folks came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I already told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear, and we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of.
This wasn't a podcast anymore. It was verbal combat. They went head-to-head about Nas, then Jim snapped.
40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas.
It don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas. Nobody from the diplomats but you.
I got hold on, Jim. Hold on. That shirt too tight.
Hold on.
That shirt too tight. You want to go back to I really mean it? I really mean it started. We could go back to the history, bro.
He accused Shannon of inviting him just for clout, just to chase views.
Playing at a high level. You check my record,
jumping up and
I'm still playing at a high level. I'm rapping at a high level. You better check my stats, bro. I will run circles around Nas rapping right. I will run circles around Nas rapping right now. Right now, I will run Saturn.
That's when Uncle Shannon clapped back hard. This the biggest podcast you've ever been on. And suddenly it wasn't an interview. It was a full-on showdown.
Biggest podcast you ever been on. Hold on. We off topic. Hold on.
You see you in your feelings?
When you get big, you get invited to Club Shay Shay.
This is what I do.
Nas get invited.
Shannon stopped playing host, turned full opponent. When Jim doubled down and said he was better than Nas, Shannon didn't just talk music. He went in on Jim's stats like, oh, really? Let's settle this in the weight room.
Buy a bag of your clothes, big fella. You too big, man.
You talk about you in the gym. Now you want to get me? You want me to see me in the gym?
Oh, we can do that.
Since you like to talk that ish, now come see me in the gym.
We talking about working out.
We
talking about working out or strength. What you talking about? Working out or strength?
Work however you want to do it.
We talking about
since you got money.
If we talking about
put your money where your mouth is.
So you talking about working out, I burn
stacks.
you. You talking about working out, I burn you. You talking about working out or strength? Because you probably can lift a lot more than me.
Whatever.
You're bigger than me. You're probably stronger than me. But if you talk about working out, I burn you.
This ain't what you do. This ain't what you want. You are doing good when you talk about Nas and Jay.
Instead of firing back at 50 Cent, Jim Jones tried to switch the narrative. He pivoted into full fitness mode, challenged Shannon to a head-to-head gym battle, thinking he could prove dominance by outlifting, outreigning, outlasting. But honestly, it came off like a clever sidestep. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was on his quiet chessboard, cold, silent, strategic. That one federal document he posted, still ringing loud. And one name on that label, still hovering like smoke in the room. Meanwhile, the comments section went wild. Folks couldn't leave a retired NFL Hall of Famer was out here defending Nas with more fire than anyone else. One fan even commented, Shannon did what Fat Joe and Jada should have done. Jones, you delusional. Shah, thank you for calling it out. And they weren't lying, because why were they so quiet when Jim ran wild with reckless bars? As the drama kept building, 50 Cent just sat in the shadows, quiet as ever, No trolling, no captions, nothing but eerie silence. But right where it felt like things couldn't get any messier, fans dug up an old clip, and it was ugly.
I can't, like, if it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. He was so nice. He was so nice about him. How did you do that? What's the first sentence? What the fuck do you write about him? I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record. Like, I'm not, he used to have so nervous was like B.I.G., Pop, right? Even Cannabis, like Eminem, he have you like, if we go at it, dog, we gotta go hard. You know what I'm saying? But these Jim Jones, like, I respect you getting your money.
Straight up humiliation. Jim Jones didn't just get curved by Nas back in the day. He got laughed off stage. And now in 2025, that dusty clip is spinning online like it dropped yesterday. Embarrassment on loop. But that wasn't even the worst part. While Nas kept it graceful and Shannon hit the gym, someone else was creeping in the shadows, 50 Cent. The moment Jim claimed he was better than Nas, 50 didn't flinch, didn't blink, just pulled receipts from his bottomless vault of petty and poured gasoline on the fire. One Instagram caption, and boom, he resurrected one of the darkest rumors in rap history. He called Jim Individual One. And here's where it gets twisted. Individual One wasn't just some playful shade. It's a real federal label, directly tied to a 2018 wiretap from the Tekashi 6ix9ine Trey Bloods trial. In that case, prosecutors played a recorded call where someone allegedly gave the green light to violate Tekashi for snitching. No names in court, but they labeled the voice Individual One. And fans swore that voice sounded exactly like Jim Jones. Legally, nothing stuck. No charges. No confirmation. But the streets, the blogs, especially 50 Cent, they never let that tape go.
In Texas, please, whatever you do, don't tell them I'm in San Antonio. Don't tell them I'm staying at the Four Seasons. Don't tell them, please don't tell them, man, because there's just so much pressure on me right now. I don't know what to do.
Now, fast forward. Jim is out here talking big on every podcast, trying to pull Nas into some lyrical war. 50 Cent saw the perfect moment to strike. Silent but sharp, he dove into his Instagram archives, pulled out an old meme he once posted, then deleted and reposted it. It read, "So that's why they didn't pull him in. Say it ain't so, Jimmy." And just like that, boom, the internet was back in 2019, right when Shade Room dropped all the Tekashi trial updates, and a court reporter claimed Tekashi.
Yeah, Jimmy boy, you should have never brought this up. Y'all are only 3 years apart, and Nas is just like murdering you. You asked us to look up the stats, and here they are. Like Jim Jones, like you got a couple songs. I mean, like literally, it's a couple. But we're talking about Nas. Let me show y'all Nas's last projects. Nas been getting it in since 2018. Jimmy, when the last time you put out an album? Oh, would you look at that? You have been dropping music. You've really been dropping music. But nobody's heard it.
Had actually named Jim Jones as a 9 Trey member. Of course, 50 Cent couldn't resist. He hit that comment section like lighter fluid on a flame. And then came the video, the infamous one, where 50 looked dead serious, maybe even a little shook. That's when fans started asking, wait, what does 50 know? 50 Cent even wrote, "I'm afraid for my life." Jokes were flying, memes everywhere. But behind the laughs, Jim looked tight, twitching, clearly heated. Because under all that internet noise, something else was brewing. Let's be real. 50 Cent didn't start this over Nas. He's had history with Jim Jones for years. This was just a perfect excuse to circle back and reopen the file.